Emergencies can happen at any time, and having enough funds to deal with these unforeseeable circumstances can be the difference between financial success and an unfavorable money situation that can have long-term negative impacts. In this video, we discuss 5 tips to ensure that you have that emergency fund to weather the storm. Welcome to Kenny's Concepts, where the beauty of knowledge is our passion. The mission of this channel is to share useful insights and tips to help you on your personal and professional development journey. If you're new to this channel, welcome. If not, we're super happy that you could join us once again. Remember to hit that subscribe button and bell notification to stay connected and know as soon as a new video is out. Also, if you like this video, show some love and give us a thumbs up. We could lose our job, have a medical emergency, or get into some type of serious accident. These types of emergencies and much more happen all the time and when we least expect it. During these times, it's absolutely crucial that we have an emergency fund to cover any unforeseen expenses and prevent a situation where we don't have enough money or have to use expensive debt. Let's jump into those 5 tips to build that emergency fund and get it where it needs to be. Tip number 1 is establishing a budget. A budget is key to financial success, but specific to building your emergency fund, it will allow you to know your monthly expenses and determine how much you can reasonably afford to put away for a rainy day. When identifying your monthly expenses, the focus should be on those which have to be paid. For example, your rent or mortgage, utilities, or insurance premiums. Optional expenses such as eating out or shopping are not the focus at this point. Tip number 2 is set an emergency fund savings goal. The question to ask yourself when setting this goal is how many months of my required expenses do I need to have in case of an emergency? The answer to this question will obviously differ from person to person, but 3 to 12 months is a good place to start. The important considerations here are that in getting to your goal, it does not mean that you're free to not save otherwise. Also, you do not want to put too much money in an emergency fund, as this will divert resources from other important things such as investing. Remember, your emergency fund should be easily accessible with little risk of losing value and should be considered separate from your investments and any long-term savings you may have. Tip number 3 is prioritize your emergency fund and designate a separate account. If we allow our money to be used for other things when we get it, soon enough we'll realize that there's not enough to meet our emergency fund saving goal. This happens to everybody. When our income comes in, the first thing that we want to do is get that TV we've been eyeing or that new Samsung or iPhone. This is why it's important that as soon as funds come in, our emergency savings goes out. If, for example, your monthly target is $100, set up a monthly automatic transfer for the day you get paid to go to that designated emergency fund. Having this automatic transfer set up and a designated account will minimize the likelihood of spending it and also separate it from funds meant for other purposes. Tip number 4 is cut unnecessary expenses. Remember before when we were talking about setting up a budget, we mentioned focusing on required expenses? That was for planning purposes. But in reality, there are expenses which exist out of want rather than a need. Of course, this is normal, but remember we're on a mission to reach our emergency fund target. In order to get there as quickly as possible and ensure that we have no setbacks, we need to make sure that we have enough to save. To achieve this, we need to cut down on unnecessary expenses. Instead of ordering out 3 times per week, order out once. Instead of buying those new pairs of shoes, defer the purchase or stagger it out over a longer period of time. The 5th and final tip is track your spending and where possible, put extra money in your emergency fund. Remember, for most of us, our income is relatively fixed. The aspect of our finances which we have most control over is our expenses. This is why it's important to track our spending and seek opportunities to channel extra money into our emergency fund. The sooner we get to the desired 3 to 12 months, the better, and every extra penny helps. Also, surplus savings in 1 month can help offset a deficit in another. This balances our savings over time and keeps us on track. Let's quickly put this into perspective without going too much into the numbers. Let's say, for example, our required monthly expenses is $2,150 and we're trying to target an emergency fund with 3 months worth of expenses. This would equal a total of $6,450. If we think $200 per month is a reasonable amount to set aside for our emergency fund savings goal, this would take us approximately 32 months or 2.5 years to get where we need to be. This is a very long time in which an emergency could come up. Now, I'm not a negative guy and I actually hate projecting or thinking about anything negative, but reality is reality. This illustrates the importance of utilizing the tips discussed to build our emergency fund and get to our ultimate goal as quickly as possible. I recently did a video on some fundamental financial concepts which we all should know to improve our wealth creation and money management. I'll link that up in the YouTube card above and be sure to check it out. In the comment section below, let us know if you have an emergency fund or are actively building your fund. Also, what do you think is the ideal number of months worth of expenses someone should have in their fund? Thank you so much for watching and don't forget to subscribe, like and share. Until next time, stay blessed.